Hello and welcome back to the Big O podcast. This week I have got an amazing guest, which I cannot wait to get stuck into our conversation. So I have with me today Antonia Purdie. She is a burlesque queen. She's a performance artist, a life model, and just fucking amazing at what she does. So I cannot wait for you to meet her. So hello, Antonia.
Hello, thank you so much for having
Oh,
me.
it's my absolute pleasure. Now, I actually had the experience of being in a burlesque class with Antonia, and oh my God, she just embodied everything flipping amazing. Like, I can't even explain. So, I would love you to introduce yourself to our listeners and just
Awesome.
tell
All
us a
right.
little bit about you.
Hello, I am Antonia Purdie, and yes, I am a burlesque performer. I also do other bits and bobs, so some fire, aerial, contemporary, bits of samba, but burlesque, that is my heart, soul, and passion. I'm also a life model, as you kind of said. I run a company called Purdie Life Drawing. We do weekly classes, hen parties, stag parties, all sorts of things. And yeah, I also do performance arts, which yeah, is a kind of much more contemporary avant-garde way of me expressing myself. But it all works. And I think the kind of little golden trio of things that I've got all marry each other quite well.
Oh,
But
the
yeah,
golden trio. Yes. Do you know what? I
yeah,
really feel like that actually, because it's exactly like what I do. It is this trio, it's this triangle, which is such a sacred feminine energy as
yeah,
well.
yeah. As I did that, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
I
it represents the
know
womb, doesn't it? Those 3 points. And actually, I think I'd probably just describe you as so many women that I do know that are just this multi-passionate creatrix. Basically, you
you.
create art, and you create art through your movement, through your dance,
Yeah.
through your modeling. I saw actually yesterday, I was having a look, and you did this the little clip with these bubbles and this most amazing, exquisite costume. Oh my God, it's
Oh,
beautiful.
that was
um and you can just see that you just love what you do, and this is why I wanted you on here today to talk to everybody about this. So I would love to begin with kind of what led you to this. What was it that drove you to this?
Yeah, okay. So it's quite a roundabout one, but I actually I started performing by accident. I I had there was an event, a rather horrific event that happened in my life. And it led me to want to be strong, so no one could ever hurt me again. And then I started doing aerial, and that was about 9 years ago. But then a few years later, I got a gig. Then I got another gig. Then I got offered some money for a gig. And then it kind of came this thing. And I realized that I loved performing and that it was something I wanted to pursue. Many years down the line, I then developed this real love and interest for burlesque and kind of saw that in my previous performances, there was this sexual energy that I potentially wasn't comfortable enough yet with to understand or maybe know how to place it or where to put it or what to even do with it. And I think as women, we're almost kind of, it's told, don't be too sexy, but be sexy. Don't do this, don't too much. Don't. So there was still that sifting around my mind. And then all of a sudden, there was this sudden like, boom, no, wait, this is what I need to do. This is what I want to be doing. And it really became a way for me, burlesque in particular, performing as a whole, but burlesque in particular was a way for me to regain and reclaim my sexuality and that sexual power and my feminine energy. I think that, yeah, after my attack, I was very much, I I became a little shell of myself, and all I wanted to be was the person, the girl. Actually, I remember using that term, the girl that I was before. And then again, this switch happened of realizing I want to be the woman that I am now, and the woman that I can be. And that was a real, like, interesting bit of semantics in my mind of just like, okay, you can change this. You are already changing this. Believe it, empower it. Let's do this. And yeah, and I
Wow. Oh
started
my
doing that.
gosh. So much. I resonate with so much of what you're saying, because do you know what? This is exactly what I have found in life. Some of the most horrific, horrible events that have
Yeah,
happened in my life, which feel like they break you,
yeah,
um, often are the ones that actually end up molding us into what we are. And part of my journey over this last year is I have done a lot of shadow work and a lot of healing. And what I've realized, I think for a very long time, I tried to push away the bad and focus on the positive. But actually, I found that it was by integrating those negative, sometimes fucking horrific experiences, they mold us and they make us into who we are. And actually what you said, I feel like this is a huge part of the journey, because that is exactly what I found, is that when I started making the changes in my life, the first step was, I want to be the girl I was before. It was like, you want to return, and it's about rediscovering who you are. Isn't it? It's so much about rediscovering who you are. And then there's a shift that happens as soon as you reconnect to who you were. It's almost this opportunity. What you said, I love what you said, the woman that I am now. And that is actually it. You said about the woman that you can be, but I believe that they're one and the same person. The woman that you can be is the woman that you are now. And it is through embodiment and kind of being, because embodiment is just being. It's turning up every day as the person you are and the person you want to be. And that, I just feel that so much in what you're saying and in what you do and in your performances, which is just amazing. And I think it's a process that until I experienced it, I never really understood.
No, there's no kind of handbook to it. And I think it's almost, when you hear it before you're ready to hear it, you can be quite, for me personally, almost dismissive of just like, no, that's just no. It's like, actually, that was me being intimidated by the thought of the person I could be, and actually not being ready for that, not ready to hear that, not ready to go on that journey with myself. And so it's I think timing is very key within it, because you've got to be willing and not resistant. And
exactly. And actually what you said about the not being ready bit, particularly about the, you know, our sensual, our sexual side, you know, that's a huge part of our feminine energy that we need to claim, because I think within our culture and in our society, we are shamed for it. And, you know, I spent 15 years, it's almost like this last year, I've released the last 15 years that I, you know, the life that I built, primary school teacher, wife, mother, you know, all of these roles that are very kind of, you know, what a mum should look like, what a teacher should look like. And it's nice like I have
that we that's carved out for us before we've even got there.
And I have stripped away. Oh look, I'm literally stripping my cardigan off. But yeah, stripping away those shoulds of, you know, all of those roles that we kind of make ourselves fit into because of fear of judgment. And that's what I found. You know, I didn't do the things I actually found. So the burlesque class that we attended together,
Big up Cecilia Wild, you amazing woman.
But that I realized that I had actually contacted them in 2016. And then I never ended up going to a class. So this is something that I feel like has been brewing within me for a really fucking long time. Like, you think that was 6 years ago? That was 6 years ago. This has been there. It's within us all. And I think this is key. All of this stuff that we talk about, all of this, you know, journey and, you know, the embodiment side of it, the awakening side of it, the sexual energy, that is already in us. But like you were saying, sometimes you are at a point in your life where you're just not ready yet. And that's okay.
That's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. There is no pressure, and it's your own personal journey. And I think anyone trying to kind of get there almost faster, that's holding you back as well. Like, just let it happen.
It's the push, because actually the push is the masculine energy. The feminine energy is the flow, where we actually allow it to happen. We allow it to happen, and we realize that life is for us. It's not happening to us, it's for us. So we allow the experiences that we are ready for, and we get to kind of embrace this part of ourselves, you know, at each step, you know. And sometimes I now know that I had to release my job first. and then I had to, then that put into review the other areas in my life, and I realized that there was a lot of things wrong within our marriage that I'd just been hiding from. These weren't new things, these were things that were already there, that I had been shoving away, putting aside, saying no, it's fine, that no, it's fine,
it's fine, yeah, we've got this, it's fine, yeah.
And it turns out it wasn't. And so it's been this stepped process, and then that meant releasing my home, and that was a massive all of these stages I've had to go through until now. And now I am fully engaged in what I'm doing. I am fully committed to my business, to where I am now, and even I am now doing the burlesque class that I wanted to do 6 years ago that I wasn't ready for at the time, because it is a process.
But that's so good. And it's almost like, you were setting those like building blocks for yourself of just like, at some point this is going to be a thing. And like that's amazing and so powerful. Exactly. I'm just really happy for you and excited.
Thank you.
No worries.
Well, actually, seeing you in that class, and you were there, you were just so confident in your own body, in the end, do you realize the whole class, we were all in our underwear at the end, and that was you were in your underwear at the and it gave us, and that's what that is the power of being in a room with the right people that bring you up and lift you up. And this is where the saying no and the saying yes to the things that are right or wrong for you, it's so important, because you're putting yourself in that place, in the space with the people that are going to lift you. And you were, for me, in that particular class, you were that person, with your assles on and your out.
Gotta love an asshole. I mean, I'm always one for just like, let's just go. And I think what makes me so happy is kind of like, I mean, like I love going to different burlesque classes, different dance classes of all varieties, because I think it's really important for my development as an artist, constant development as an artist. You never know it all, like to really see like other sides of things, different techniques, and also to be in that environment with other people and see what makes them tick. And also I just love when you see someone else get it, or like when you can make someone else feel good. It's like, I love that. I love
literally
so
my
much.
favorite feeling, when you see it click and you see them suddenly embodying the confidence that because this is what I find, I see that in other people, like I see it, and they often don't see it in themselves, and then there's this shift where they suddenly like, holy fuck, I am that. You're right. And you can see it's like a shift in the way they hold their body. And that is exactly what happened in that class. Suddenly, as soon as everybody, funnily enough, stripped off, everybody held themselves. It was like shoulders back, chest out, walking with a swagger. And there's something so powerful about us owning our body, owning who we are, whatever shape, size. It actually doesn't matter, because in the class there was literally every kind of person in that class.
Kind of person, every kind of body. And I think that's one thing that I love so much about Pink Kitten in itself. Like, it's such an accepting and wonderfully welcoming space, and it's also just it just provides so much joy for so many people. But it's also what's wonderful, and I think with that class in particular, like, you could kind of almost see like, okay, they're taking that, I'll take that off too. One of my biggest things, and I think something that again like goes into my golden triangle of all the jobs that I do and different hats that I wear, there's kind of nudity at the base of all of them.
I've noticed that on your page, and I love it. Being a photographer and seeing your images, I am just I am just in love with them, because the way that you own your body, like you, and that is what makes you so sexy, so like appealing, so beautiful to watch. Is making you blush. But that is it, isn't it? It's because if you turned up and you posed for these photos, or you turned up for a show and you're shoulders hunched, and you don't have that ownership over your own being, it's completely different, and people feel that.
Absolutely. And I think it was actually something that was said to me at the weekend this weekend just gone, when I was doing a gig, someone came up to me after a show and were just like, thank you, I felt safe, and I just loved watching you, because they recognized the autonomy that I had on my body, the fact that I was there with the audience. I was loving it. I wanted them to love it. We were all going on this sexy journey together. And you can see that sometimes when a performer maybe isn't feeling themselves. I mean, we all have those days. It is a total thing, like performer or non-performer. We all have those days when we're not on point. But it can be, if you're then watching that and you see someone like that, or like their face is a bit pained, or like they're not kind of like really committing to that moment, it gets nerve-wracking, because you as an audience member are like, oh god, what's gonna happen?
You can feel the energy, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. You feed off that. So one of the best pieces of advice for performing that I have ever been given was that if you are having fun, people are going to have fun watching you. And that has carried me through so well. Like, that's been one of the best pieces.
I think that relates to everything, and not just performance, because, well, actually, I mean, I suppose in a way everything we do in our life is a performance anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
So, like, isn't it really?
That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, I knew that was what drove my practice actually as a teacher for so many years, was that if I am enjoying this, if this has purpose to it, then they are going to enjoy it. And that was truth, 100% truth. I know that within my own business, if I am enjoying photographing whoever I'm photographing, they fucking love it. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
And you know, because you feed off each other's energy. And I think the biggest thing that I know is that when you are in that zone of joy, you know, of being like turned on by your life, being turned on by what you're doing, like actually really truly and deeply loving what you do, you become magnetic. And I 100% believe that you can make a success of anything if you are in that place. Like, it literally could be anything.
Yeah. No, I completely. Yeah, absolutely. I think like I was very lucky, and I feel like it was around, weirdly, 2016 for me too, which was when kind of I was just starting to get comfortable with the idea of me going into the world of burlesque. But then I broke my foot, which was a big old shame. But it basically meant that I had to get creative and think how I could earn money and stay still. And life modeling then came about for me. And with that, it was a real way for me to engage in my body and really kind of get to grips with that and find a beautiful space of being completely nude, but in a completely non-sexual environment. Where I was just shapes and lines, as opposed to my performance work where I'm hypersexualized by my own choice, and I love it. But I found having those two polar opposites but incredibly similar things very, very powerful. But it also being a beautiful space for me to really feel that again, and to be stubborn. I think your way of putting it sounds much nicer. I always think of it as me being stubborn and just like, I'm doing this, I want to do this, I'm absolutely doing this is happening. And then I'm now fully burlesquing and fully life drawing.
Do you know what though? Your stubbornness, I will say it in a slightly different way, but I 100% agree with you. It is your sovereign energy, because the queen, she knows what she wants, and she will damn well do it regardless of what anyone says. And do you know, a conversation that I've been having within my own coaching group at the moment is about this. It's about kind of, I suppose, knowing what you want, and knowing that there is always going to be fear. There's going to be fear of judgment, or fear of failure, or fear of, I don't know, embarrassment, or fear, you know, there's always a fear. Absolutely. You know, I find failure and judgment, and actually sometimes even fear of success, they're the like
how
the
do I
three
carry this
main
forward?
yeah,
how do we keep
exactly.
going?
Yeah, exactly. They're the three main fears that I tend to come about. But the queen, that sovereign energy, when we are fully embodied within ourselves, we trust ourselves, we know ourselves, and we damn well know what we want to do. And what I think knowing what we want to do also means knowing what brings us joy. When we are in that energy, we are the queen, and we are stubborn as hell. But in the most positive way, because I think stubborn's got a little bit of a negative context, but it's not.
Yeah, there are connotations to it that really degrade the actual kind of root of it, where it's again, it's like we were saying earlier, and like you were saying, rather, knowing when to say no.
Yes.
Or knowing when to say yes, and being like, no, I don't need that, I don't want that. That isn't, it is being stubborn, but it isn't stubborn in the typical way. It's I think there's also, I was talking to my friend about selfishness and how there are things that being selfish, it can seem like, oh my god, but how could you do that? It's like, actually no, I just knew what was best for me and what I needed to do, and that's okay.
Yes, that's it right there. I've got a real issue with the word selfishness, actually, because it has been given such a bad rap. But basically, when you are being so-called selfish, what you're actually doing is putting yourself first. Now, when you are, especially like, so as a mother of three and having to maintain my own home, I need to be fucking selfish every day.
Yes, you do.
Because if I'm not, I end up burnt out. And how the hell can I show up in my business? Can I show up for my children? Can I support them? Can I provide them with everything they need? Can I provide myself with everything that I need if I'm not? And this is it, selfish. I really want to take a massive shift on that word and say that actually being selfish is you putting your own gas mask on first. It's you maintaining and supporting yourself, knowing yourself, and actually that allows you to give the support and care to others that you
completely.
And it should be our choice. That's the other thing. When did it turn into this kind of duty, like, you know, the kind of like dutiful wife and the dutiful employee, like they have to do this and this, and you know, this being humble and not taking praise, and you know, instantly putting yourself down to make someone else feel better. Like, it's all of these things, this is all wrapped up in the same bubble. It's like,
it really is. And it also kind of, I think it goes back to kind of female archetypes, and the kind of pressures and fear that was seen throughout history by any men who suddenly were just like, oh my god, the women are doing things, oh my god, oh dear god.
Well, it's like the witch wound, isn't it?
Get us.
Like, we would have been burned for this. Actually, I love one of your posts that you put onto your page. Actually, we'll tell everyone about the link to your page actually at the end. But one of the posts of you with your burlesque feathers, and the all that it said was, I would, you know, we would have been burned for this, like in the past, like talking about the archetypes, and you were there, and it's like these women like that, showing up like that, would have been burned. And I think it was the voiceover or something on the thing, and you put underneath about I'm so glad things have changed now, because now women like that need to be celebrated, because that is the witch wound. Any woman that showed up as independent, showed up as being too beautiful, as being too seductive, as being too spiritual, I suppose, or connected, or too luring to men, would have been burned. Like, it's like, holy crap.
Absolutely. And I love that little sound bite. It makes me so happy every time. Just like, just try it.
Just that's it. Just try it. That's what you put on there. Like, just try it.
The exact one.
And I love
that. Makes me so happy, because it is that. And I think I have a wonderful family, but they're very academic in comparison to me, and there have been a few times where it's kind of like, oh, you're doing this, are you? It's just like, yes I am. For ages I was known amongst some of my dad's work colleagues, which really got to him, and it really got to me. They were just like, oh, the one with the tattoo. It's just like, there's so much more to me than my tattoo. Yes, my tattoo is beautiful, but wow. And it's that weird thing. And actually, like, God love my dad, he was just like, yeah, and she's great. It's just like, yes, go get him, don't rise to it, but just you tell him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's those things, like remembering the women that have been before us who kind of paved the way so that I could do my job, so that we could be who we want to be, that we didn't have to have a man to sign off on whatever it is, because unfortunately that's the way the world used to work. And thankfully we are getting there. We are definitely getting there. It's not perfect, but we're getting there.
And
so
I'm
having
sure,
that transition, it's great.
yeah, I think it was the Dalai Lama, wasn't it, that said that it was the Western woman that was going to save the world. Like, you know,
I've never heard that.
and
I
do you
love
know
that.
what, this is it. I mean, this is it. Every kind of step that we take, every voice that's out there, every performer that's out there, everybody that is taking that tiny step to, you know, even just to reach within themselves, discover who they are, and step into that wholeheartedly. Every single woman that does that, they are paving the way for the next women that do it, you know. And that just fills my heart with joy completely. So thinking about that, and thinking about, you know, these amazing women that I know that we are all surrounded by, and I see it within them, and I also see so many women kind of holding back. And I do think part of that is maybe not knowing how, like the how do we do this? And
it's that terrifying first step, which is always going to be the hardest. And it's also it's the wonderful thing that there's such a plethora of options now, but that's also incredibly intimidating. Yes. And I think there's no kind of one size fits all, and it's maybe like writing down a few things that you're like, okay, yep, I want to try that, I want to do this, whatever it may be. But also recognizing things that scare you, like that, like we were saying, like fear can be a really helpful one. And I've seen it in a lot of friends of mine and myself, actually, when we start to do the things that scare us, that's almost like a kind of domino effect of like, okay, I did that, so I can do that. Okay, let's do that now. And then it's just becomes this beautiful thing.
Yeah, and actually, do you know what, funnily enough, the way that my business has expanded over the last year has been exactly that. Actually over the last 2 years, because before I left teaching, you know, one of the main things that spurred that is I had a massive mental breakdown, which I have talked about openly in some of the other things, you know, videos or podcasts that I've been doing. And what actually saved me was my artwork. And I realized at that point I hadn't drawn anything in my sketchbook for 10 years. And then I started just doing that. And then that was just drawing, which then led to me exploring watercolors, which then led to me doing bigger pieces, which then led to me doing acrylic, which then led to me opening up a studio to kind of teach art workshops, which then led to me opening up a shop to sell my own artwork and do commissions from, and then work one-to-one, which then led to me doing now what I'm doing, the coaching side, the public speaking side, the way, you know, being an advocate for how fucking powerful creativity is, and how much it can literally change everything. And all that started with was that moment where I couldn't speak, I couldn't stop crying, so I opened up a sketchbook and started drawing. And that's exactly it. One tiny action. And sometimes you don't even know, like there's no way 2 years ago I would have thought this is where I'd be now, because it was all of those things that led me to then review, okay, right, I'm doing all of these things that I love now, something's got to give. Okay, my career, which I thought I was going to be in forever, you know, that fell away first. Then I reviewed my life, then, you know, my marriage and my home, you know, and all of that. It's been this domino effect, exactly as you said, domino effect. And it's just starting with one tiny thing. Now, I have to say, just as a little thing, this has been a massive life shift for me. Doesn't mean that you sitting down and doing a drawing is going to lead you to you, like, you know, changing everything, because you know, there are a lot of people that are happy with a lot of things in their life. It's
which
just
is awesome, absolutely amazing. It's just, I think it's important to know for those people that don't know that and that isn't all going peachy keen, there are other options, and we've got you when and you've got yourself. You just need to
Yeah.
Believe that.
And actually that's interesting because you know what you're saying, we've got you that having that circle, that support circle, that, you know, it could be friends, it could actually be going to things like my event that I've got coming up, the Empowered Women event, where it is a circle of women which is gathering together, which is there to, you know, release things, to embrace who they actually are, to go on this journey together. That is so important, because before you can support yourself, often you need to put yourself in a place where you are supported by others.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
we are, as human beings, we are social beings.
Yeah,
and this is
we
what
need
I
a
say,
village.
yeah,
we
that. Do.
Yeah.
And you know, this is what I'm saying about being in that class with you. You know, you kind of led the way and gave permission to others. And I feel like, you know, this is part of what we do here, is we allow people to look at their own lives and say, whatever you want is right for you. You know, this is your permission slip.
Absolutely.
to do the
Run
thing
with
you
it,
want to do
with it. Absolutely.
No,
I think that's so good, and I'm excited for the 30th. I will be there. Bring me and my girlfriend. Yeah.
Yay. I love
amazing.
that. And you know, this is it, is, you know, for anybody that is listening and thinking to themselves, oh, I'd love to try a burlesque class or something like that, do it. This is your permission slip. Whether you are, you know, perhaps you're in your 20s, perhaps you're in your 50s, perhaps you're a mum, perhaps you're a grandmother, perhaps you're single and want to just explore yourself. It doesn't fucking matter. This is your permission slip. I am solemnly giving you permission to go out, do the fucking thing that you want to do
now. Do it.
You know, and I think you know, everything that we do, you know, what you do, even though what you do is different from what I do, it is actually the same thing. It's about us embracing our creative side. It's about us embodying who we are, which is who we want to be.
Absolutely. I can remember so many times at school, even after I left, even like up until like a few years ago, people being like, so when are you going to get a real job? Like, what's this whole creative thing? It's a bit silly, really, isn't it? It's just like, well, actually, look at me now.
The whole starving artist concept.
And I think it's so important to know that creativity comes in all forms, whether that's writing, whether that's cooking, whether that's reading, whether that's dancing, art, everything. You can do whatever you want, whatever your skill set is, whatever your niche is, whatever you want to be your skill set, you can make that happen. And
do you know, I find it quite interesting. So I offer one-to-one tutoring and coaching for art, and one of my clients that I've just taken on, she came to me and literally said, I don't think I'm creative, I want to find out if I am. And actually the conversation we had was that actually everybody is creative. Everybody, the way you think, you show up every day, you know, you putting together your outfit in the morning, that's you being creative. It's a way of thinking and
self-expression.
Exactly. And you know, what we kind of came to was, okay, maybe I am creative, let's transfer that. Then I want to see how I can express that in, you know, through art. And that's where we kind of came to kind of what we were going to do together for the term. And I think that's it. It's starting with where you are now. You know, and where you are now, that is exactly where you're supposed to be. Okay. Like, this is the starting point. It doesn't matter where you are. And it's looking at that and really feeling into, and this is where the inner work, the shadow work and things like that comes in, because we get to actually go into ourselves and just ask the question, what do I want? And that sometimes can be a really hard question to answer.
Oh yeah, definitely. And quite an intimidating one as well, because I think as soon as you realize that you can do whatever the fuck you want, and like, just don't be a dick, that's the golden rules. It's intimidating, it's scary, because it's like, okay, so I can do anything I want, go for it. And then it's like, well, so many things, but actually run with it, go with it, do it, go to art classes, go to a dance class, go to a cookery class. It's all there for you. And it's sometimes nice as well, if you do have that kind of amazing tribe behind you, say, hey, do you want to go to this class with me? Like, include your friends in this journey, because maybe they've been wanting to do something too. It may not be the thing for both of you, but maybe it will be for one of you. And it's again, it's that starting block and bringing other people into that, which again in itself is so empowering. Those shared experiences, that kind of lust for knowledge, that lust for life, it's a shared thing that, like you were saying, kind of grows and is then like a magnet. And I think, yeah, that's when kind of beautiful, wonderful things can happen from that.
Yeah. And I think, you know, I found that the kind of parallel to the question of what do I want also is the question, who am I? And I found that those two kind of, they swung. It was like a pendulum between those two questions until I finally, and it's like the swing gets less and less each time. It gets closer and closer and closer together until you think, oh, this is who I am and this is what I want, you know. And but it sometimes that feels so far, like those two questions feel so far apart. It was actually Brené Brown's TED talk that she did about vulnerability, and this was the start of my journey with my coach, which was oh god, maybe 3 years ago now. And
wow.
I came into the group and I sobbed. I mean, snotty tears of I don't know who I am, you know, this utterly vulnerable, ironically, moment where I was going, I don't know how to show up authentically because I don't know who I am. And it was somebody actually saying, well, this kind of is it. This is authentic. Like, and I was like, oh, like, okay,
you're being you right now. That vulnerability that is oozing all of you,
and
now we build on that.
Exactly. And that can feel terrifying, and
it's horrible being that raw, just it's scary, but it's also so beautiful. And it's kind of like the embers of a fire, like, you know, there's still stuff there, and that's what's going to keep things going.
Exactly. And it was that question that kind of spurred everything for me. It was those, you know, because that starting with who am I and that what do I actually want, and at that point they were so far apart. Like it was I felt utterly I felt lost. Actually, I had lost all of my own identity. I had no idea who I was, and then going through this whole process. And do you know what I was feeling today? So I was dancing this morning actually, and then had yoga, and I felt like this. It's probably to do with the full moon as well. I'm very, you know, this whole full moon at the moment. For those that are listening in the future, you know, we're in the full moon energy, and you know, it's the Aries energy, which is. And there's so much release going on right now. And what I felt this morning, I kind of felt this energy, and plus it's 10:10 today as well, very powerful, by the way. But I just felt like a woman, like I mean, as in I could feel all the curves in my body. I could feel the softness of my kind of form. I can feel that fucking fire in my belly, like that sacral energy that is just like burning. It's almost like a little bit of rage. I'm feeling a lot of rage.
That's okay. Work with rage is very useful.
That kind of passion. And it was all, every now and then I have these moments, it's like, fuck, I'm a fucking queen. I am literally a goddess. I can feel my whole body, and anybody that is in my presence is fucking lucky, you know, that energy. And you know, when you get to that point, this has been, you know, now for me this has been years of work, but to feel that in yourself is so empowering, because it means that whatever decision, whatever step I take next is going to be the right one, because it's going to be right for me. You know, and that there takes away so much of the fear, because if I know that if I'm in this energy of I feel fucking powerful right now, then I know that whatever choice I make is going to be the right one.
No, absolutely. And that in itself is, I think it's so freeing what you said, like, that's going to be the right choice for me. And it's like, yes it is, because you're making it. You are consciously making that decision. You're listening to what your body needs and you're going with it. And that's so beautiful, and all you can do, really. I love that.
And do you know what, one of the triggering things you know, that kind of stirred this was a couple of years ago, and it was Actually, one of the first things I did was look at my wardrobe, and I stripped out everything that was kind of my teacher kind of uniform. It wasn't uniform.
Let's get rid of those connotations.
Yeah, I pulled all of that out. I put the colors together. I cleared out my underwear drawer. Okay, and I kept all the underwear that I fucking loved, and that every single time I put a pair of pants on now, they're ones that I love and I feel good in. And this is it. And I think this is what so much of what you do does, you know, these beautiful outfits that you wear in burlesque, the way you can completely strip down, you know, when you're doing your life modeling and things like that as well. And that it's about owning our own skin. It's about choosing to put things on our body that make us feel fucking good.
It's right.
The way we move our body that makes us feel, and this is the energy that I was talking about that hit me this morning, that I feel like a woman. Like, you know, that not just
that's really powerful. And it is that. And I think, like when you kind of almost like sit with your body and you're just like, okay, we're doing this, and this is my body, it's mine. Like that, I think from experiences that I've had, like slight trigger warning, I was raped. That was what's kind of sparked everything that I now do to fight for myself, to fight for other women, to just like be you, be happy, and to be okay, to be the woman that you want to be. And I think from that, it's so powerful when you do have that, this is mine. And that term, like, this is mine, my body, mine. A friend said that to me, and it changed so much. It changed so much for me. And it's yours.
And you can see it in you, and this is it. The way that you just, you know, even the way you're sat right now, the clothes that you put on, your beautiful earrings, which we're talking, you know, all of that is, you can see that you are your own. Like your body is yours, and you get to do with it as you please. But that's the thing, is your damn choice. And
absolutely.
You get to show up, you get to adorn it the way that you want to, you know, and that is, oh God, that just makes such a fucking difference to the way we feel on a day-to-day basis. When you are putting things on your body, or you know somebody like disrespects your body, it's like, fuck no, this is mine. This is mine. Exactly.
You can try, but no,
exactly.
Something I love, I get whenever I'm performing, like I'll meet many different types of people, but one that I love is when you get a woman of any kind of age or size, but it's quite often like slightly younger women, and they're like, oh, do I have to be like a certain size, or like how do I do this? It's like, you do you. If there is no rule to it, you can do this. You can be the goddess that you are. Like, just empower yourself and do that. I promise you can do it. But the other one that I love is when you get, and I am in no way men bashing, I just want to put that out there, because I have some fantastic male friends and allies, and I fucking love all of them. However, I love it when you get a man that's all very big bollocks, and then they're suddenly just kind of like, oh, aren't you like little bit underdressed tonight, aren't you? It's like, actually, I showed up in rhinestones, thank you very much. And it's just like, okay, no, I'm not gonna berate you, but I am gonna play with this, and I'm gonna show you I do not give a fuck about what you think. I'm doing me in my body, and you are welcome to look, because that's my job, but you're not going to make me feel bad or give me a complex. No.
Can I just say, there is a Barry Big Bollocks in most places where we go.
Best term ever, by the way. Barry Big Bollocks makes me so happy.
I know, that's it. But yes, oh my God, I feel so much of what you do, you know, and who you are, and the way that you show up, and
that honestly means the world to me, and that's why I do what I do. When someone gets it, yeah, it means that I'm doing my job right, and it just makes me so happy.
It does. It makes your heart sing, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. I keep like throughout this, I've been like clutching my heart. I'm just like, oh God, I love this.
Well, yeah, and you know what? This is it. And I really think you are such an amazing inspiration, you know, and you know, thank you for sharing. That must, you know, your past must have been such a horrific experience, but I also know that there are so many women out there that have experienced the same thing, and you know, haven't yet found their way of, you know, stepping into themselves and owning themselves. And I think you are such a fucking inspiration. So,
thank you.
You know, what I would love actually is if you say on here, and I will make sure I put it in the text for the podcast as well, but you know, where people can actually find you to follow you would be
absolutely. So on Instagram, Antonia_Purdie, and then for life drawing, again Instagram, Purdie Life Drawing. You can find me at the Jam Jar every Monday and Tuesday, where I run my life drawing classes. You can also find me at the Raven Bristol, where I have my residency and I am their burlesque queen. And yeah, check on their website when I'm there, or on my Instagram, like I said, and yeah, come find me.
Oh, amazing. Antonia, thank you so much. This has been such a beautiful and empowering conversation. And this, when I talk about what an empowered woman looks like, you are it. You own yourself, your being, you know, in every way, shape and form. And I find you a massive inspiration. That's why I have been so excited to speak to you today. And I've just loved everything that we've talked about. So anybody, you know, we would love to hear anybody that kind of wants to kind of join this conversation, maybe wants to show up a little bit. I actually have a Facebook group called Wild Goddess Rising. Please come into there and share your opinions, or if you want to just send us individual messages, that's, you know, that's fine, and we welcome it, because like I said, when people get it, like Antonia said, when people get it, it literally makes our hearts sing. And it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me. I honestly can't tell you how much this means to me, and it's just such an honor to get to talk to you. And yeah, thank you for doing what you do, because it's important. And yeah,
thank you, Antonia. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I am actually watching you perform this weekend, and I cannot wait for it. So thank you very much, and I'm sure at some point in the future we may have another conversation about this.
I do hope so. Amazing. All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.